wait. Did I say anything?
Don't push me. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do it.
I've tried several times. I look at this smile, you know. Stop.
Right on the set.
I look there, right? Okay.
Okay, so can you tell us your name, major, where you're from, and a little bit about you?
So I'm Jakira Austin. I'm a fifth year studying biology from Hampton, Georgia.
So my name is Mishai Grandjean. I'm a fourth year political science and economics major from Jonesboro, Georgia.
My name is Zayla Wilson. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
What's up, y'all? My name is Abraham, and I'm Destin.
Hi, my name is Anne-Marie Wacoro, and I'm a fourth year communication studies major here at UGA.
I'm a MIS and marketing major, so I'm in the business school.
So my major is in biological science, and I'm also minoring in public health. My parents are from Guinea, West Africa.
And my parents were born and raised in the beautiful island of Haiti.
A little bit about me. I transferred to the University of Georgia fall 2016.
I'm a fourth year psychology major, minoring African American studies from College Park, Georgia.
And I'm graduating this May, so May 10th, 2019, I will be graduating and leaving this university.
So what made you even want to attend college in general, and why UGA?
I just think that the way that I was raised with my parents and everything, that it was always college. Like, we grew up not knowing anything different. Like, it was just like a second nature. Like, you're going to go to college. The question is, where are you going to go to college?
Growing up, it was never really pushed on me to go to college. It was just something that I understood I was going to go. It was never like, oh, you're going or you don't have to go. I just kind of thought in my mind that's the only option. So I went on a lot of college tours, and UGA actually wasn't my first choice college-wise. I actually went on a tour, and I was like, y'all can't pay me to come here. Look at it. I just don't like it. We were downtown Athens. I was like, yeah, I just don't like it. I don't know why I want to come here or why people want me to come here. So I looked at other options. Then I realized, okay, I'm saving a lot of money by coming here. And then I talked to a lot of people in different programs, and they kind of convinced me to come here.
So I had a lot of dreams to go to, Harvard University, Washington University in St. Louis, just several either Ivy League schools or top tier Ivy League schools. But there was one time I was in church, and I just remember praying about what to do and everything. And it sounded crazy, but I heard a voice that said, Amishadai. And I was like, hello? I'm thinking I'm talking to myself or whatever. He was like, Amishadai, I want you to apply and go to UGA. I'm like, why? And he's like, there's something there that I have for you that I need you to go to UGA.
Found the top 3 schools in Georgia. I knew I wanted to stay in Georgia because I was going to get a scholarship. So decided to come to UGA.
I'm one of the first people in my family to go to college. I knew that I had to go to college if I wanted to kind of get out the environment that I grew up in. And UGA was kind of just made it easy. I was a Zell scholar, so that's when you get full tuition.
For me, I decided college early on. Like, my parents ingrained that in each one of my siblings. Like, there was really no option other than to go to college. And just watching them, the way that I grew up, and how they had to work hard to provide the things that we had, I knew I wanted something better for myself, and specifically they wanted us to be better than them.
I remember moving in, I was like, dang, this man gonna be tremendously different from me because he's, like you said, he's from Guinea, West Africa. I was raised in College Park, so you know what I'm saying? Two different cultures, but I think it's amazing how you can meet somebody and grew up a totally different way. He grew up in an African household. I grew up in just an African American black household. And for you all to be so much alike, I think that's crazy. But also just those differences that we have too, they help me grow a lot. I feel like if I didn't meet Abraham, then I wouldn't be as knowledgeable or more accepting to different cultures. But when you live with someone who's tremendously different from you, you learn to understand, you learn to you know what I'm saying, grow through that. So I think it was a really good experience for me, for sure. I think we both learned a lot from each other. I mean, just looking at this man now, if y'all would have seen freshman year Abraham and looking at him now, you know what I'm saying, it's really it's good to see too, the growth in both of us. I think it's amazing to see.
So it was actually very hard when I transferred. One of the hardest times I had to deal with, like you just said, people already had pre-existing friendships. They know the area. I didn't know anybody in Athens, never lived in Athens. I lived off campus, so it just seemed like I was always going from my house back to school all the time and just classes. So I think the best way that I learned to readjust and get used to the school was by just throwing myself in there. So I would just see random meetings somewhere and I would just go to them, even though they had nothing to do with me hoping to meet people. I tried to say hey to more people and like ask more questions, but it was hard. For the first couple months, I really didn't know a single person.
As we continue as roommates, I feel like our relationship has changed over the years. We went from like really like freshman year being inseparable. Like if you saw Ibra, you always see Destin, and vice versa. Like we could literally never be without each other, things of that nature. And then like we've grown now to like be able to like still be close, but like being able to venture off into different things. So like we might not be a part of the same organizations, or we might have different friend groups outside of each other, but like we still know that we can go to each other for like anything. Like we still have like, we have such a deep root from like our beginnings. We always know that we have that relationship, even if we're not like seeing each other every day or like talking as much as we did like freshman year.
I think the big turning point for me is one day I was in Bolton Dining Commons and I met a girl, Zari Wilson, a lot of people know her, and she was sitting there at the table and she was watching TV on her phone and something was like, just go up and talk to her. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's really awkward. I'm not going to do that. And then I went up to get something to drink and I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to her. And right when I walked up to her, I almost turned around and I literally felt something push me and say, just say hey. Like, it's something literally pushed me. So I was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I just want to introduce myself. I just transferred here. And I think some people would think that was weird, but just her reaction to it, she was like, no, have a seat. Like, where did you transfer from? And then she invited me to her Bible study ministry, which like gave me a chance to meet other girls. And that was just like the start of reaching out to people and learning like it's okay to just talk to people randomly, you know, because they're going to say something back and you may meet some really good people sometimes.
But I think that at this big of a school, like there's always someone who's like you. So you can find someone who likes to go and read in the library at 2 a.m. You can find someone who's kind of like you and kind of make that connection and find your place at UGA, I think.
When I started joining organizations like ASU or GRT, and then learning that there's things you can do outside of campus that can still be scholarly and you can also have fun at the same time.
So when I came to UGA, it was definitely like a culture shock. I found like, you know, like safety sort of in Bugga, but like it was still like in my classes, like I was sometimes the only black woman and black person in general. But I think that it just took me, like I said before, getting outside my comfort zone and just challenging myself to kind of be open to different types of relationships, be open to different people, and be open to different opinions and views on several issues.
One for Taze, one for caffeine.
Would you have a lot of food today?
Kind of, yeah.
So, as much as I would like to say I don't care what people think, one of my friends, Destin, will beg to disagree. I really do. It's been a struggle to kind of really worry about what people think. I've always wanted to just be liked and people to appreciate me. But with that, when I would hear a comment like, oh, like I feel like he's just forcing his religion down people's throat, or I feel like he's judging me, that really kind of like hurt me and pushed me the wrong way. So I'm still recently kind of working with like not caring too much what people think. I think I need to focus on like what God thinks of me, and then, you know, second, my parents and those who raised me.
Originally coming in, you know, you still just figuring it out, testing the grounds. I was always very concerned with like, dang, these white people gonna think I'm too black. You know what I'm saying? I come in these different spaces like, this boy's like a black guy, you know, he's acting loud or whatever. I didn't know. So I was definitely like concerned about what, you know, what people would think about me. But now I think it's a flip now. So I've always been, like I said, I've always been in the black community. That has never changed. But now, you know, since I kind of moved up, started talking to different groups, people in the black community would go, oh, well, he's too white. Now I'm like, bro, what? But you know what I'm saying? So I think it's interesting to, you know, feel like you have to, like, I guess, impress a certain group, or like, you know what I'm saying, still like validate your blackness because you have 15 white friends. You know, I don't know. I think it's weird. But yeah.
So it was really heavy like freshman year because everybody's new, everybody's forming that first opinion of everybody, and you want to make a good first impression. But it took years, like literally like to this day now, that you have to realize like you can only be yourself. Of course people are gonna have something to say about you, but like that's not something that you should stress over. It was like really like when you would hear like conflicting views about yourself. Like someone would say like, oh, maybe I'm too nice, I'm always in somebody's face, too loud, too much for people. And then someone else would be like, oh, he doesn't talk, he doesn't say anything to me when he passes by. I'm like, those are two conflicting things. So like, you're like, which one do I believe? Like, which one is true? So like once you realize that, you're gonna know that like people is always gonna have something to say. You just have to worry about yourself. Actually.
But I think that like freshman year is when I made a lot of great connections and I made a lot of great friendships, and they've established and kind of grown throughout the years. I do think that it's hard to do a lot in college, to kind of really want to do well academically and to like maintain relationships. But I think that the people who are down for you and who rock with you are going to stay with you regardless. And they kind of understand that, hey, you're trying to do this and this, and that college is sort of like a 4-year period. We have an entire lifetime to have friendships and to kind of grow with each other. But it has been hard to kind of balance those 3 main aspects. But I think like you make time for the people that you love, and the people that you love should understand sometimes if you don't have time.
How have you sensed God's movement in your life throughout college?
He saw the best in me. Well, if anything, I just am really thankful. I always tell people, I hope when people see my story or they know me, it's not like, oh, he has clout or he's just like a special guy, but really it's just like God's grace and favor. That's the only thing I could like count on. And I know sometimes I've also, been ridiculed for it. I've been made fun of it. Some people feel like, well, it makes me feel uncomfortable, but I'm only here because God told me to be here, one, and everything I've accomplished is only because of him. So since freshman year, he's really, dragged me. Sometimes I didn't want to go, sometimes I wanted to do my own thing, but he's really protected me, shielded me, and I'm just so thankful to be where I am. It's really just because of him. And I always tell people, like, whether you believe in God or not, like, you need something to believe in, whether it's yourself, whether it's your family or a motto. But if you definitely believe in a higher power like that, it's going to give you strength and help you out. It's going to cover things that you don't know needs to be covered. It's going to elevate you, put you in the right place at the right time. So everything about my life has been really strategically placed for this moment, and all glory to the man upstairs. So really appreciate him.
I think God is very intentional. So I think like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, exactly in the right moment. Like he's very intentional with his works. So I feel like if there's a misstep, like I wasn't supposed to get that position, or I wasn't supposed to get an A on that test because God was teaching me something. So I try to look at it from like what can I learn from this situation and how can I grow from it. But kind of like Ibra, I think everything is going to work out. So I don't like to stress over like the mishaps, but definitely learn from them. But yeah, God is very intentional, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Whoever's watching this video, they're exactly where they're supposed to be right now because God is definitely working on them just as much as he's working on us.
So there's a lot of my friends who will just come together and pray. There's a lot of people who I know who are very spiritual, and anytime I have a problem, I'll go to them and they'll send me like a Bible verse or scripture to, look at and then, kind of meditate on it and let it resonate and, let it feel what it means to you.
I think college has definitely taught me a lot about myself, so it's really a place where you are going to like learn so much about yourself from every single detail, what you like, what you don't like, what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with, and even your own flaws as well, which you have to address every day and kind of work on it. So it's definitely like a great place, and it goes by fast. When I was a freshman, everyone says, "Oh, go by fast, enjoy it." I'm like, yeah, but it's really like even like a blink of an eye. But definitely a thankful memory to have, and something that's I think really important, regardless of what is it that you do.
And so, what has it taught you about yourself?
That's a good question. We started stubborn. I know some people watching this like, oh, he's all right. Yeah, that's true. Because I tend to like kind of just stick with the idea, but I think it's really taught me to like, be open, see other people's opinions and thoughts, and like learn how to like kind of use that in my just path and journey, like other people's perceptions and what they think. So again, not caring too much of what people think, but at the same time like taking those good qualities or those good advice and critiques to make your perception better or to make what you're doing better each and every day.
It took like until like last semester for me to really just say like, hey, I really want to do something with marketing because I like the creative aspect of business. So I think that it kind of just took me learning a little bit more about myself and kind of just going with the flow in the end. So I've had like questions like, why am I here? What am I doing truly? Am I doing enough? Am I living up to like what my mom would want me to be doing? Yeah, just a lot of self-reflective questions I think I've had.
College is definitely a struggle. That's one thing I had to learn. Like, I didn't know that I had to like take so many L's or like struggle in so many different things, whether that's classes or like social climate or like getting involved in things just for me to grow as a person and like be the man that I am today. I feel like it's through those experiences, whether they were good or bad, that's where I really found myself.
Coming into my own was kind of hard because I still didn't really know what I wanted to do, what type of person I was. And then everyone's telling you, you know, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should dress, how you should look. And I just started to, you know, pray about it and then realize, okay, deep down in your heart, you know who you want to be and who you want to become. So all those outside forces don't even matter. So over the time, like even till this day, I'm still trying to find myself, but I even noticed like someone who I was 2 months ago is not the same person I am today, which is even kind of scary because you're like, dang, you're changing so rapidly and you don't want people to think anything of you. But as long as you stay true to yourself, but also knowing that change is good and it comes with a lot of, you know, benefits, it was easy for me to try to learn, okay, if I don't like this type of scene, I don't have to go to it just because people expect me to. And I don't know, I guess kind of gradually I'm trying to find myself, but it's definitely become easier over the years to just try to, you know, find what best version of myself I am at that time.
I'm not my best self yet. I don't think so. But I think that the journey of kind of recognizing who you are throughout college is like kind of how I've come like really close to it. So whether that's just been like me kind of being at a party and not wanting to be there, like I realized, okay, like I'm not that much of a party person, or me kind of going to a different class, like trying a new media class. Like I realized I was more of a creative person. I think like it's all the small steps within college that you don't even think about that really kind of add up and show you who you really are.
Backstory to this quote I'm about to say, but it was one time I was leaving my dorm room or whatever, and I was talking to an upperclassman, and I was telling him like, yeah, I got to seal my test. I'm totally okay with it, like I'm done. And like she literally said to me, like her name is Michelle Igori, she said to me like, college has a way of making you feel average, but you have to realize that you're not average. And I think that's something that everybody can take along in their life. You're never anywhere to take up space. Like you're always like, you know, you're whatever position you're in or whatever you're doing, like you should always like realize like your gravity of the situation, like and how you can, you know, maneuver that situation, but you never should just be anywhere to take up space. So being average is never an option. Don't let any situation that you're in kind of, I guess, keep you down. Because one place I was at, I was okay with being mediocre, and I was like, that's not okay, looking at it. And I think that that advice that she gave me, it really always stood out to me. I think that was a word, and I like put it in my quote book. But yeah, it was a word. Just don't allow yourself to feel average no matter what situation you're in, because like one bad situation doesn't define you, it doesn't make or break you. It really just teaches you lessons and like teaches you how to move forward.
I had to learn with discouragement early on because I'm the type of person to like let things be within me. I didn't like to go and tell people that, oh, I failed a test, or oh, I feel like I didn't get this internship, because I just didn't want people to look at me as a failure. So a lot of times I would just brush it off or keep it inside, and that didn't really help me either. I started gaining a lot of stress and anxiety and just, you know, a lot of thoughts that weren't really the most healthy for me. So I started to talk to people who I knew I could trust, you know, talk to advisors, talk to mentors. And then I realized that everyone's going through the same thing as me, it's just no one's publicizing it. So I thought it was just something that I'm the only person dealing with, and I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I'm just dumb and this and the third. But everyone was kind of going through the same things. It was just, okay, how are you gonna deal with it, and how are you gonna move on to the next chapter? So I just started talking to people, and then they gave me insight and things they should do, and then that's how it ended up, you know, getting out of those situations and then finding the light again.
And so is college what you thought it would be? And if so, what did you think about it? If not, what were the stark differences?
Yes, I thought college was definitely just going to be a party 24/7, all for years. I got tired after freshman year, so I think that coming in, I thought like, yeah, people party and they still, you know, wake up and get 4.0s, but I don't think that that's the case. I mean, of course, like a few people can do it. Kudos to those people, but I thought it was definitely a party place 24/7. I didn't really kind of understand how collegiate organizations worked until I got here, and I knew like, of course, like you would know like a SGA would be here or like a BSU, which is called BAC here, but I didn't really know that like there's so many different opportunities for you to even create your own organization, which I did, to kind of really like become a part of the campus and impact it in such a way by just being like one student out of 30,000. So I came into college knowing that I wanted to do well academically, but I really just saw college as like a means to an end, like just go through it, party a little bit. But it's definitely a place that I think I've grown tremendously, and I've kind of come to be like the person that I want to be, and I've formed so many great relationships and learned so much in my courses. So it's definitely like been like a growing grounds for me, I guess.
College is what I thought it would be. Yeah, it's definitely what I thought it would be. I knew I was looking for something in college. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I knew I was coming here for a purpose, and I definitely think like UGA gave me what I was looking for. And like I said, I didn't know what I was looking for, but I definitely came here, found a sense of self, find out what I wanted to do, find out what I cared about, and point me in a direction in which I wanted to go towards.
When I first came to UGA, I thought I was going to be pre-med, go into med school, and then I realized I don't like science, I don't like math, I don't like blood, I don't like even people like that, to be, you know, in hospitals back and forth and doing all this stuff in residency. But I knew I like to talk to people and I like to help people. So I still stayed in Franklin, but now I'm a communication studies major and learning all the different like parts of like rhetorical criticism and research. There's a lot of things that go into it, and I can still help people the way I wanted to with, you know, being biology and being a pre-med major, but just in aspects and ways that I want to do it and things I actually like to do.
At this point in your lives, what are your definitions of success?
I measure success really on like happiness, as many would say, and like really autonomy. Like I want to be able to say that I'm doing something for myself, and like I'm the one who's governing my own life. For instance, I've talked a lot about being a doctor. So of course I want to work in the hospital and things of that nature, and I'm gonna have a boss then. But eventually I want to get to the state where I'm gonna be able to open up my own practice, so like I can govern my own rules, come in when I want, and really like structure like the way I want to give out medicine and help people the way that I want to do it. And of course, happiness is another big thing. Going in, people always wondering like, am I doing this for the money? Am I doing this because my parents said so? So like just finding that state where like you're happy within yourself eternally, you know that everything that you're doing is because you want to do it. So happiness and autonomy.
Yeah, I would like to, I guess, say the same thing. So happiness. I think it's very important like to be happy with whatever you're doing. A lot of people aren't. Like Abraham said, a lot of people are in their career path because they want to make money. And like, yeah, you're making money, but like you might end up being miserable doing something that you don't want to do. So definitely like aim to be happy. But one thing like I hold myself to, like the impact that you make. I think for me, I measure success based on like impact. So no matter what position I'm in, no matter what I'm doing, whether I am a first year working in Georgia Days or I'm a senior working in as an orientation leader, like I always want to leave an impact somewhere. I would love for me to graduate and 4 years come back like, hey Destin, remember that conversation you had with me? Like, well, I decided to do this because of that. Like I think the impact that someone has can be great on many lives. So like I aim to always just like be very intentional with everything that I do, so that way I can leave like a long lasting like impact and like help someone, you know, shape their lives and like continue to pour into people, because like I said, so many people poured into me. So definitely, you know, pour into everybody that I can, make very intentional impacts and be happy while doing it.
At this point in my life, I think it's like a combination of being happy or kind of finding my meaning and finding my purpose, and then still right now like being able to provide for my mom, helping her in any way I can is kind of what I define as success. So that's like having a job. Of course, that would lead to a little bit of happiness, because despite what people say, I do think that money is at least happiness. So getting a good job and being able to help people who've helped me.
And I think too, like, don't ever compare yourself to other people. You know, when I was a freshman, I used to compare myself to seniors who were graduating and getting job offers. I was like, man, I don't have no job, I was on the internships, but it's like there's so much disparity. And sometimes we even like to compare ourselves with people who are on our level or like in the same year, but we still can't do that. Everyone's path is different, it's designed just for them. And if you look over, then you'll miss out on the joy that's happening in your path. So you really have to just kind of get excited, you know, buckle down and just realize that you are successful. It doesn't matter about like being a doctor, being an engineer, being a fashion designer, a movie producer, or a talk show host, like whatever it is that you want to become. Like that's not being successful. Being successful is being yourself and like using all the qualities and tools that you have. And no matter where you end up, even if it's just being a mom or a dad or like, you know, a friend or just tutoring in the neighborhood or whatever that may do, that is being successful, because it's just really using your qualities and your characteristics for the right reasons. So I was like, that's success.
And so what do you want people to say about you or remember about you post-graduation?
Yeah, despite me like never wearing makeup to class, I do hope that they remember that when I beat my face, I beat my face. I hope that they'll remember me as kind of being somebody who always kind of tried to help people, whether that's like helping people get internships, helping people read their resume, helping them with just like random advice. I do want to kind of be known as somebody who left the campus a better place in terms of just like unity, empowerment, and just overall kind of bringing people together and kind of believing or kind of leaving a mission or a legacy of like helping others.
When I leave, I think I want people to say that Jakira Austin was very helpful. She was selfless, that she would probably give you the shirt off her back if you needed it, but also too, she would just help you out your situation, you know, not just give you something, but give you the tools to help you get to where you're going. I want people to say that she's loving, that she loved UGA, you know, and that if she could make it here, a person that didn't know anybody, then like anybody can.
I want people to say that, you know, Mishda was someone who, you know, wasn't perfect, you know, didn't have it all together, but was someone that tried his best to obey God, you know, didn't always do it all the time, but like everything he did was purposeful. Everything he did wasn't just like passing through the motions. That he really tried to make other people see that, you know, hey, this is like the benefits and rewards when you follow God and you follow like your passion and your dreams, and to not necessarily lose that. I think that was something that I like always struggled with. I was wondering, do people think, oh, like, you know, he's reached at this point, like he's so proud, like, were they things just because of, you know, some connection, some money, or just by luck or chance? And I want people like, no, it was not that. You know, when you follow what God tells you to do, whether it's into a major or into a career path, like he plans everything right, and if you obey him and stay with him, like he'll help you out. Like I've always wanted to be one of those people in the Bible that, you know, in the Bible talks about different kings and stuff. It says, and the Lord was with so-and-so, and so-and-so did right in the sight of the Lord. And because of that, God was with him. Like I always wanted to be that type of person and not just someone who, you know, just kind of did my own thing. Because whenever you're doing your own thing, like it tends not to work out. But when you kind of really give it to God and work on it, then, you know, it goes out best. So I hope people just say, like, you know, that was someone who like really, you know, made believing in God cool, you know what I'm saying? Made being a Christian or just being a believer a good thing, and not something to be awkward or to hide. But at the same time, he was someone who loved everybody, who believed like everyone was cool, everyone was popular, like there's no like hierarchy or like, you know, you can't say hi to me, like, no, we're all family. Like I always push that a lot. Like I still call people family. We don't always act like it all the time, but I think we need to remind ourselves that we are family, regardless of our skin color, where we're from or where we're raised. Like we're all just one human race. Everybody wants to eat, everyone wants to be successful, and as long as we just help each other in that and encourage each other, pray for each other, like we can all make it. So I just hope people just said like, hey, he was like everybody's friend. You know, he really wanted the best for everyone, and he just really like, you know, was a big believer in God and just knew that everything he had was because of God and he had to use it the right way. But he wasn't perfect.
It's never too early to start doing whatever it is that you want to accomplish. You can come in freshman year thinking, oh, I'm going to get on this e-board next year, or I'm going to wait to do this, but like literally you can get involved right now. You could change someone's life right now.
I'm thankful for the people that helped me, but now that I'm in the situation where I am, I know there's also people that are going through the same thing, whether they're transfer or first year, things like that, which made me want to get involved in UGA orientation and help other students. I told myself that it took me 100 steps to get to where I am. I'm not where I want to be, you know, but it took me 100 steps to get to where I am. If I could save a student one step, that would just make me feel like I've, you know, done my purpose here at UGA and helped another student in return. I hope that they would do the same for somebody else and just keep that legacy going.
So you guys can follow me on Snapchat at ann.maren and on Instagram at annmareneka.